and welcome again to China Minutes. Last week we met Zhuan at the Chinese Tea Company in Portobello Road, where we sipped on the delicious Dragon Well tea. This week we're on search for a Chinese tea shop in New Bond Street that has a bit of reputation in London. Let's go and have a look. Hi.
Hi Michelle, nice to meet you.
Hi, great. So I'm here at Postcard Teas.
Welcome to the shop.
Great, thank you. So Jonathan, tell me a bit more about Postcard Teas.
So Postcard Teas was founded by Timothy Doffey in 2005. So he owns the shop and sources quite a few of the teas. But there's 6 of us who actually do the sourcing. So we work in China, in Japan, in Korea, Taiwan, Vietnam, India, and a little bit in Sri Lanka, and also a very little bit in Australia, Scotland, and in France. So we try to represent, for us, what the 3 major tea cultures in the world, which are China, Japan, and Britain.
So where are the teas sourced from?
So we have about 60 to 70 teas, and we work with about sort of 30 to 40 different tea producers, and every single one of those producers we have visited at least once. So we work directly with small farms, so we're talking farms of about 15 acres, but on average about 4 or 5 acres, and sometimes as small as sort of half an acre or an acre. So to give you an idea of scale, an acre is the size of the area of Trafalgar Square, so we're talking quite small production teas. Some of our tea makers may give us about 1 kilo, 2 kilos of tea a year. And even in places like India and Sri Lanka, where there's predominantly a plantation system, so a system of estates left over from British colonialism, we still try to work with either individual farmers or cooperatives of farmers. So the money does go back to the people who actually produce the tea, who are always the people who actually own their own land as well.
So what is special about white tea?
So we're going to be trying a white tea today. So white tea is a type of tea that originates in China, and we're going to try white tea from Fuding, which is one of the more traditional areas for white tea production. White tea, unlike green tea, doesn't involve a stage called kilgreen, which is where you actually heat the leaf to the point that it can no longer oxidize. So with green tea, it's heat treated often in China in a pan to stop it from oxidizing. With white tea, the leaf does oxidize naturally and then is sun dried. So you can see from the leaf here that there is quite a bit of oxidation on this leaf. Because of the way we work, we've got quite a mishmash of ceramics that we're using here. So we've got porcelain gaiwan from Dehua, a porcelain furnace jug from Jingdezhen, so they're 2 of the main porcelain centers in China. Handmade strainer from Kyoto, and some cups from Japan as well. But this is how we normally serve all our teas. So we normally brew in quite concentrated amounts in a gaiwan, so I'm using about 4 to 5 grams of leaf here for about 100 mils. And then we pour straight into the furnace jug, and then drink out of the small cups. So this is an autumnal tea, so it's quite different from the spring white teas. It's more heavily oxidized. It's quite similar to how first flush and second flush Darjeelings differ in oxidization. The spring white teas we have are very green and unoxidized. You can see on the leaf here all the browning around the leaves, which is the oxidization. The taste is very light. It should have a lot of sweetness. It should have a lot of sweetness in the mouth and then in the throat as well as it goes down. And the sweetness should last long as well. So in Chinese tea we talk about hui gan, which is a sweetness that returns after it's been drunk. In terms of notes of the tea, you get slight stone fruit notes, a little bit of like almond and marzipan. But I mean, tea is very personal. We try not to give too detailed tasting notes because everyone has their own frame of reference. So what you taste might not be exactly the same as what I taste. But for us, the main thing about this tea is once you keep drinking it, you can make many infusions of it, is the sort of relaxing feeling that you get after drinking it. Yeah. But that's also very personal, so you might not experience it in exactly the same way.
So something else that's really cool about Postcard Teas is you can select up to 50 grams of a loose tea and send it to a friend anywhere in the world. Can I send mine out now? Hope you enjoyed watching today, and if you liked our video, please remember to like, comment and share below.